Welcome, welcome. I think Jim's going to be joining us in a second here. And we're going to be talking about Reclaim Press today and kind of playing around with some stuff. Um, Jim, whenever you're ready, you can throw yourself on stage. But we had a community chat on Wednesday talking um, about kind of scaling WordPress in general and sort of what some of the challenges are, what some of the things we see as a hosting company in terms of uh, unmet uh, niches, basically from small sites to large sites. Hey, Jim.
Hey, how are you, Taylor? Can
I'm
you hear
I'm
me?
doing good. Yeah, I can hear you. I just realized I need to take our little banner off that says starting soon
Starting
because we've started
soon.
already. But I wanted to get the stream going at 9, so I kind of started it, and while I got a couple things ready. Um, but yeah, I was just saying that we had a community chat on Wednesday, talking about scaling WordPress in general, and also about this platform that we're sort of putting together that you've been kind of working a lot on recently on of Reclaim Press, and how we think that this could fit a lot of needs that we think are kind of currently unmet for folks that we talk to who are running WordPress sites that you know shared running a WordPress site on shared hosting or domain of one's own is great for smaller sites and personal sites, and it's really inexpensive, which is awesome. We've been doing a lot of stuff with Reclaim Cloud and running larger sites there. Reclaim Cloud can do all kinds of different things, but one thing it does really well is WordPress. The problem with Reclaim Cloud for larger WordPress sites is that you don't get a lot of the management niceties that you can get in cPanel right now. So what we're really excited about is this new platform, Reclaim Press, that brings a lot of that ease of use to sort of a cloud infrastructure for hosting WordPress sites. So we talked a lot about that on Wednesday. I think it would be a good, if you're interested in hearing about that, go to community.reclaimhosting.com and you can check out our community chat, our last video there. But today is kind of about us just sort of playing with the platform and just kind of I'm thinking I've got a project in mind that I want to try. I don't know if you have stuff you want to try, but yeah, there's
Well,
a
I do
lot of
have
different
one
directions we can
thing,
go.
Taylor, that
Hmm.
I think you're going to be happy to learn about. So, like, we'll jump right into it. One of the things that was a limitation on Reclaim Cloud was, um, as Taylor mentioned, and I tested and confirmed, you can't when you map a domain on a Reclaim Cloud environment. In order to get a free SSL cert, you need to add an IP address, which adds money to your monthly spend.
Yeah,
So
IP
that's
addresses cost us money for each single one, so that costs the customer money too. To be
yeah,
clear, so we're buying blocks of IPs. It actually loses us money when they're not being used, which is a bummer.
yeah,
But when they are being used, the end user of that IP pays $3 in Reclaim Cloud for that IP, which for a
monthly,
larger project, yeah, sorry, $3 monthly for a larger
yeah,
project isn't the end of the world. But
exactly.
then as we just talked about with WordPress sites, the scale on WordPress, that's the beautiful thing about WordPress is it can be down to a site that one person a year visits to White House's website is WordPress, right? Like the U.S. government uses WordPress, and
But
and
it was
everything in between.
and it was a really good point. Like, just adding that cost monthly would be for someone who's on shared hosting, be like, I have a
Yeah.
shared IP that saves me money. And there's a lot of reasons to stay on shared hosting, to be clear.
Oh yeah, we love shared hosting, but
But
it's not good for
when you,
everything.
but your WordPress won't fly on it. Um, the point really is that you can, when you point a CNAME at a environment in Reclaim Press, you do not, I repeat, you do not need an IP address for an SSL cert to automatically work. I have tested that on two different sites now. I've tested that on um, brianmmathers.com. And so this is actually being pointed as a CNAME in Cloudflare, and I'm going to pull it up right now, and it is not using any A record. It's amazing, amazing, and it's such a beautiful site that I just want to show it. So here's
this
my
is it,
map
right?
site. That's it. Yes, you got it. So this is actually on Reclaim Press.
I'll pull yours up here.
It is CNAME. So basically, it is being pointed as a CNAME and bound to the environment. And when you issue an SSL within the Reclaim Press dashboard, the WordPress experience, if you will, it automatically goes and I check. So did the environment in the more traditional admin interface, which we can look at, issue an IP address? And the answer there is no. So look at this. This is our old, it's not old, this is our complementary Reclaim Cloud. But when I go to Reclaim Press, and let me do that right now, and I'm playing with a couple of things right now, so I might be all over the place, but that's all right. Nothing new there. So this is actually not, well, so trust me, it worked. And then I tried it on Anth 101, which you see here. And Anth 101 is Anthology 101, Michael Wesch's course. And it was kind of a open online course that kind of Tom Woodward helped develop and Michael Wesch taught. And this one is using a CNAME without, and I know it's not using a special SSL through Cloudflare because it's not running through Cloudflare. It's using our DNS.
Okay,
so
perfect. That was my next question.
I know is actually running securely, anth101.com, and there is no IP address on this environment. So
that's really cool.
It works.
Yeah,
that's what I was playing with this morning. Talk about playing with Reclaim Press. That was my play.
Yeah, that's really exciting. Like you said, for the cost savings and is really nice there. But also, this is exciting for me too, because I think it actually has implications for Reclaim Cloud as well. Because for non-WordPress stuff, I know we're here to talk about WordPress today, but I am one of the things that draws me to Reclaim Cloud so much is I think I've always been really into just the idea of self-hosting all kinds of different applications. Like I love to see how easy some of these things are that like 10 years ago we would have thought of as like you're gonna self-host your own YouTube alternative. Are you insane? And now it's just like, sure, click a button, PeerTube exists. So I'm kind of excited to also take that knowledge and learn how are they doing that in Reclaim Press, and what would that look like on the cloud as well. But that's kind of a tangent all on its own, but that is exciting.
Here's some more playing. So if we're talking about playing, the other thing I did yesterday, and you helped me with some of the rsynching stuff, is I moved Bava Tuesdays, which is running a standalone multi-region, which means it's replicating across 2 different data centers across 2 different regions. And you'll see my instance on Reclaim Cloud is stopped because this is now running cleanly, I would say, and very fast on Reclaim Press. So this is not that one. Let me just log in and show you that, because this is kind of cool. So I'm going to log out. So this is Reclaim Press. This is we actually have a production instance in already, Macaulay's community site, which is a WordPress multi-site, which is working quite well. But I have a new challenge that I'm going to try and work through. So this is kind of fun. And I don't know how well we can test it, because one of the challenges of testing in Reclaim Press is caching. Caching is pretty aggressive, that Nginx caching. Although this is Lightspeed environment, so it probably won't be.
Lightspeed's pretty aggressive too, but in both cases there are ways to clear that cache. So it's usually for me a matter of figuring out A, is caching my issue, and then B, where do I clear that again, because I never really remember.
Yeah, exactly.
But
or do I clear it on the server and on the app and in Cloudflare?
Well, and one nice thing though is that the default WordPress install that rolls out in Reclaim Press when you install WordPress, it comes with, if you're using Lightspeed, the Lightspeed cache plugin, which I think when you hit that purge should purge the server, but I'm not positive about that.
Oh wow.
But for Nginx, I know there's a special plugin for Nginx, because Lightspeed, to you and I know this because we deal with it literally every day. but for folks who are maybe watching, and there are apparently a couple people watching on Reclaim TV and a couple people watching on YouTube. So I know Eric is
Hi,
out
everybody.
there from Rochester. So that's awesome.
Eric's always there. He's the best.
Yeah, we got to get him like a badge or something. I don't know, but
get a Reclaim TV T-shirt maybe.
Yeah, honestly,
we
don't have those yet. We need to make
we'll get
them.
a custom one for Eric, actually.
Yeah. But anyway, Lightspeed is an Apache sort of, they call it a drop-in alternative, and in our experience, that's 98% true. But it's faster, and it does more aggressive caching stuff, and it is also very specifically has optimizations for WordPress. Nginx is the other option in Reclaim Press. I don't think Reclaim Press will let you roll out a standard Apache server, but to be perfectly honest, there's not much reason to use Apache in this platform.
In fact,
yeah,
it's right. And in fact, one of the ways they distinguish kind of a regular WordPress instance on Reclaim Press versus a kind of pro is Lightspeed. If you add Lightspeed, it's considered,
because Lightspeed is not free technically, right? There's a licensing fee. I think there's also like there are different licenses on Lightspeed depending on how you're using it, right? Like, so if there's multiple domains tied to a single Lightspeed server, if you have more than 5, I think there's a more expensive cost. It's not crazy. Like, we use it for pretty much every WordPress multi-site that we've been hosting. Sorry, every site that we brought into our platform in the last couple of years, basically. But it is just something to note. But the nice thing is the license is built in. You don't have to go find that and pay it separately. It's built into the cost on Reclaim Cloud and Reclaim Press. But what I wanted to say is Lightspeed has specific WordPress ties, and that plugin, I believe, will clear the server cache. But I think we've run into instances where that wasn't completely true. Nginx doesn't really have any of those ties. It's a much more generically, it's an open source tool. It's older than Lightspeed, not quite as old as Apache. But there's a special plugin when you are using Nginx in here that will force the server to clear its cache in WordPress, which is nice, except when you can't get to that plugin because the caching is the issue and you can't get to your dashboard yet. That's not normal. I had one really weird situation where that was the case, but that's one other
if
case.
You have that caching, and because of the way you migrated in, it's pointing to the wrong file structure or the wrong path,
and that's exactly what I had. Yes.
So there is some issues where it can go with the path, but like the fun
migration is still can still be a not fun time.
It's a finesse, for sure. So I've been doing migration. Speaking of, I migrated DS106 to a multi-region. It's not live yet because I have to do the DNS, but let me actually ask you a question. This is kind of this is us getting into the playing. So DS106 was a single standalone WordPress on Reclaim Cloud. It was running, I think, in a Lightspeed environment, or I don't know. I think it was Lightspeed. It was a LEMP environment. So no, it was Nginx. And so I moved it seamlessly, but I haven't pointed DNS, and here's why. And this is a very different kind of scenario I haven't dealt with multi-region yet. So if I go to my DNS records for, and I don't know, if I should block these, but whatever, here's my IPs. It's all open. So anyway, this is some of the pointing of the IPs for DS106. So I have to add a second DS106 because I have 2 servers now with 2 IPs. My question is, these are subdomains of mapped, right? They kind of put all the individual subdomains, although they're running off of. Do I have to do this with 2 different server IDs? I think I do.
Is there a reason why you can't do a wildcard?
I do have a wildcard, but it was running into some issues, and I found it cleaner and safer to just do it because there's only 5 or 6 subdomains on DS106 and it's not growing. But that means I have to do 2 subdomains for everyone. And
well, yeah, I will say I have not played with the Cloudflare like load balancing DNS kind of stuff as much as you have.
It's fun.
So
It's
in
really cool.
my head, the idea of you would have to do 2 for
I
each
think you
makes
would.
sense. Yeah.
I'm gonna
And
test
then
it. So I
I
won't do
do
it
think it
here, but that's
requires the
my play.
proxying though, right? Like it requires that proxy record to be working because technically all of the DNS when you're proxying
Yes.
through Cloudflare, it's all going to Cloudflare, and then Cloudflare decides where the bits flow from there, basically. And
They will need to be. I'll try. Like what I'll do is I'll turn all these off, and I'll try the wildcard proxy
Mhm.
and this proxy because that would save me some time. But if I don't, if they run into issues, luckily.
Well, and I
VS Code
wonder if proxying a wildcard is not an option too. Like I'm seeing that little warning
Yeah, I have to
flag.
reinvestigate.
Yeah.
I'm getting far afield of where I want to go, but I am like, this is something I've wanted to do forever is make the
Sure.
Azure 6 multi-region. And so I'm kind of very close to having that done. And I'm super excited. So that's been my play. I've brought like I brought maybe 7 sites over to Reclaim Press in the last few days. I'm kind of getting comfortable with working it. And I'm starting to understand the interface. Again, this is an interesting point here if you're watching. This is the old Reclaim Cloud interface, right? For if you're on Reclaim Cloud, it's basically the app interface is what they call it. And it's drop down and it has a lot of the information about IP addresses and you have your control situation here. But these are WordPresses and this would be identical to pretty much any other environment, right?
Mhm.
Maybe with some specific differences. Whereas here is the interface for WordPress in Reclaim Press, which is what the user will use 99% of the time, if not 100, to actually manage their WordPress instance. And as you can see, it just takes everything that's in the other interface and it gussies it up. It makes it look a little bit nicer, simpler. You have all of your resources like database information, SSH and SFTP, data center, PHP version, which you can redeploy, WordPress version. You can get a look at all the different plugins you have installed right here, and you can turn them on and turn them off right from the admin interface. And that didn't work. I'm going to have to look at that. Sometimes it has problems when it comes over migration. I got to check that. And then custom domain mapping, SSL installation, backup storage, which is great. Endpoint subscription plan. And then finally, more account stuff is you go over here and you have your account and then your subscriptions or your system settings, which will have more kind of global backup stuff, Git and SSL certs if you want to add your own. So it's very kind of focused just on WordPress and just doing that in WordPress. And that's what Reclaim Press essentially is. It's an elegant interface for WordPress that's running essentially on the same infrastructure as Reclaim Cloud.
Yeah, for sure. I think one thing we'll have to come up with, and maybe we can even, I don't know how much. We have controls over like what the site title, basically. The site title is a WordPress parlance for it, but the what goes in the tab, what's the URL?
Yeah.
We should really try and separate out terminology wise because this isn't publicly available yet. We do have some folks that aren't reclaimers that are testing this a little bit too. And if you're really interested, we can and you're seeing this, we can shoot us an email and we'd be happy to get feedback. But for the public launch, whenever we're ready for that, I think it would be good while we're documenting it to have a really clear like this interface is called, and I know Virtuoso calls it the WordPress experience. I think that name is descriptive and that's the best thing about it. Maybe, but it would be good to have like, we call this the, I don't know, maybe we do go with WordPress experience. So maybe we call it dashboard or something. And
your
then
WordPress
the other
dashboard
view
is confusing though, because that's what WordPress calls their dashboard.
Yeah, there's too many dashboards, and then we get into situations where, like on Domain of One's Own, we call dashboard a few different things there too. Although that's not really relevant here. But anyway, yeah. So let's not use dashboard. We'll call it. How about some kind of control panel?
What about your Reclaim Press? Like Reclaim Press,
the Reclaim Press panel
starts to meet with the thing it is. So Reclaim Press is your WordPress in Reclaim.
Well, in my actual, I think now that I'm thinking mission control, yeah. Now what I want though is a distinction between this and the other view, right? The what we see in Reclaim Cloud, and maybe we call it the Reclaim Press simplified view and the advanced view, you know, or something like that. Because as far as I'm aware right now, all of the stuff you do in here is possible in the advanced view, but
almost everything, yeah.
But it's in some cases, you know, either there's one exception I know of right now, but in some cases it's like you can do it, but it would be a few steps and you'd really have to know what you're doing, like the whole production staging thing. I know the plugins is not available in the advanced view, but you know what I mean? Like maybe it's the simplified and advanced view, you know, or I don't know, we call it original recipe or something.
It's funny because I wonder, at the point you want someone, it'd be interesting to have a space in the, you know, WordPress experience or in the simple view where it says go to, go to the advanced view, right? And
sure.
I think that would be interesting. Or do we just not? Do we kind of prevent, you know, advanced view access to simplify? And if they have to do something in advanced view, because collaboration and moving is coming to the simple view. So it won't be like something you have to go to more sophisticated. But it is, I wonder if just by allowing that other view would just create more problems than
I think maybe not revealing it. I think there's going to be situations where people want that, particularly for terminal access. But I would agree with you that it's probably best if we simply don't even talk about it. Don't, like 99% of people will never need to know that other view even exists. No. And maybe we just keep it that way. Right. And for some folks, they will know, we will know for troubleshooting purposes. Right. But that's a good point. Like, what are people actually going to need to go over there? We hope nothing.
Nothing.
Right? So that's the whole point.
That would be the ideal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's need to know only. And if like someone is having an issue that they can't do here, that's a good space for a ticket. And then we know what things we're getting tickets a lot about. And like, you know, this should really be in the experience because this is easy to do, but it's just not happening because it's not available. So I think that's probably the smartest way to do it.
What about one thing I realized I haven't done yet. So I'm gonna.
Do you want to pull yours? Yeah,
I'm gonna share my screen for a little bit here. So what my project for today? We'll see if we actually have enough time for this. I'll have to make things a little bit bigger. Is I want to use this tool, the MU migration tool, which you've been playing around with a bit. I have played around with just a little tiny bit. But basically, this is a WordPress CLI package that you can use to take either individual sites out of a multi-site and migrate them to another multi-site, or individual WordPress sites and migrate just one of them into a single WordPress site. So those two specific things. And what I want to do is use it to just do a simple migration of a site that I have, just a basic site that I have on shared hosting, over to Reclaim Press, just so I have something to play with. I don't use a lot of WordPress sites for my own personal projects, only because I work with WordPress every day for all of the other stuff and work stuff. And so I don't have that many WordPress sites that are like just for fun on my own shared hosting, but I do have one. And it's this very simple site at the moment that we have some family recipes put into. And basically I use Gravity Forms. So there is Gravity Forms on this to make it really easy to add to this site. And I'm currently doing the work of encouraging my wife to add to it. We'll see if I'm successful. But she likes the site. I think she likes it a lot because I did it and she hasn't had to put anything here yet though. But anyway, this is a site. It's got a couple images. It's got a few posts, but it's not very complicated. I want to just try migrating it to Reclaim Press without using anything else. So I can migrate it manually. I've done that quite a bit. and I could use a plugin like all-in-one migration or Updraft. I don't like those plugins because they frequently don't work for me. I think they would work with a simple site like this, but I feel like it's a good opportunity to do some demoing and experimentation here at the same time. So I'm going to create a new project. I'll call it recipes. I like to just kind of use that to signify the domain name. And then we'll continue. I can pick, so we've got 3 regions right now. I'll just go with our East Coast region. Actually, you know what? I haven't rolled any. Let's go to the Canadian region. Why not? So I can use, okay, so I see there's a WooCommerce package now. This is new. We must have enabled this recently.
I added it this morning.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Now go to WordPress standalone and see what that says. So it has WordPress standalone, but not Pro. So
that's Lightspeed.
That's it.
Yeah.
Lightspeed is Pro, and then WordPress standalone is with Nginx, and then WooCommerce is with they have a special kind of WooCommerce setup.
Yeah, I don't love this interface. Like I think this is a little confusing right now, and we may need to mess with like what we're calling things.
I agree.
But like, because like right here, I'm add a new plan. Can I have 2? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand what this is.
Yeah, basically. You could have one that's a WordPress standalone that has more resources, and you could have one that has less resources, or you could have a WooCommerce specific one. So yeah, you could have more.
Would that be for like multi-region things?
Or you could have a multi-region plan. Exactly. Like, so let's just say you have a site that needs more resources. So you want to use a Lightspeed. And I just generically named and priced everything. Again, none of this is in stone. I'm just trying to get used to it.
Yeah. But well, I guess my question is sort of like, why does this one have an add new plan and this one doesn't? You know what I mean?
Probably because you have never subscribed to this one. You only have subscribed to the standalone.
Okay.
Right. So now you have a plan, a single standalone plan that you can add more websites to if you wanted. Right now, that one only has 1.
Oh,
but you could add a new plan where you add more websites to that same plan.
Interesting. That's something we'll have to kind of, we'll have to come up with how are we describing that, I think, for folks a little bit. But I'll just do a basic standalone for now because this is a pretty small site. So, and I won't need anywhere near that amount of disk, and that'll be plenty cloudlets. So we'll have this create here, and it's going to do its thing. This is, I should say too, this is already, though, for the purposes of, I would like WordPress significantly faster if you don't know what you're doing, especially like if you get dumped at the normal Reclaim Cloud interface and you want to install WordPress, it's not hard if you know where to look, but why would people know where to look? You know, you can go to the marketplace and go to search for WordPress here, go to standalone kit and install, and that's great. But you know, you have to know a little bit of the language of Reclaim Cloud. So it's really nice to see that that this is such a funneled kind of easy to use experience. So while that's going, I'm going to try and use this MU migration plugin. So I'm going to actually log into my, I will need terminal access for this. So I'm going to log into my shared hosting account. And I'm going to, I don't know, can you see this? Is this big enough? So I'm going to go to my recipes subdomain. And I think, so I've been testing this a little bit. I think I've already got the package installed here, but I'm going to try it out anyway. Okay, looks like we're good. So with a simple command, you can export a whole site into a zip package. So I'm going to run this. And what this will do is end up making a site.zip file in the recipes folder. So I'm actually going to want to be careful about that because that is a publicly accessible file, right? So I want to delete that when I'm done with the migration. But that's that. And So that zip file has been created. Now, over on the Reclaim Press side, I am waiting on it to make the environment yet, but I'm going to need to do the migration in the way I'm doing here. I'm going to need terminal access. So I'm actually going to look. I think I have my keys added already. Yes, I do. So if I go back to my terminal here, I should be able to. Yep, great. So that'll be good to go once Reclaim Press is ready for me. And to be clear, this is not what everyone's process. This is me playing with kind of an advanced tool with that MU migration tool. I think for most people, you're going to be spinning up a website here and just start using it. For migrations, we do offer a migration service. People can work with us, and we can move stuff for you. I would probably recommend most people use Updraft Plus, and we actually have an article on that too. So this is just an opportunity for me to try something new.
So you're pushing Updraft Plus right now?
I'm not pushing it.
I felt a little bit like you're pushing it.
I mean, our article tells you how to use it to migrate sites without paying for it. It's not piracy. It's just sort of a workaround, their own little thing.
I think you're showing off MU migration, so I think you should promote that. That's a free.
Well, I don't want people. One of the things I'm cautious about here is the whole point of this is a simple interface, right? But if the first thing you have to do is set up SSH keys and get access to a terminal, well, then we've lost the simplicity battle.
This isn't an apologia. This is a playtime. You don't have to apologize.
That's true. Yeah,
do whatever
as Pilot says, I'm a notorious Updraft Plus shill. I never use it.
Exactly. But you were like, I hate Updraft Plus.
I hate it, but you should use it.
But you should use it.
The reason I never use it is the migrations that you and I do are not easy ones, right? We're the not just you and me, really, the whole company. If someone is asking Reclaim Hosting to do a migration, it's probably on kind of a tricky site or a large one. And that's where those plugins don't do as well. So yeah. So it is taking a little bit for me here to get in here. It looks like it's getting created though. Oh, there we go. So I love this little, this little view. It's cool. It's kind of interesting to see here. You can kind of see as the container was doing stuff, like I'd be willing to bet right here is when it was, possibly setting up the database and stuff. But anyway, so if I go here right now, I've got a basic WordPress site here. Now, I should ask, how do I know how to log into this? I guess I got an email, probably, which I don't really want to pull my emails up on screen. Hold on.
Did get an email.
Yep, I did. So
it had the login information.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the email I got. I can go here or here for admin, and there is my password, and there's my database password. This, like anything we do on these streams, probably delete this right after because I don't really want my database password out there. Yeah, so here we go. We've got a site. It's pretty fast already, right out of the box, and it does come with both the W3 Total Cache plugin and the Nginx Cache plugin. So I am actually going to go ahead and deactivate the W3 Total Cache for now while I'm doing this migration. And I guess I might as well update the plugins here.
Yeah, that's one issue actually, is like it comes right now, it's installing them as 6.2.2 rather than 6.3.1. And Brian Mathers, when I was doing his migration, was like, yeah, is that going to create database issues? And I'm like, it's probably not, because we're going to.
WordPress is real good about that.
Yeah, it's going to drop the database and import a new one, or at least I was.
Oh, yeah. And especially in that case, it doesn't matter.
So it doesn't matter. But like, I understand the concern. If you're like, oh, wait, it's not the same version. It's probably better to just keep the versions updated and then go.
Yeah, I've done some real not great things with different versions of WordPress. Like recently, I like tried downgrading a WordPress site from WordPress 6.3.1 to WordPress 4 as part of that exploration I was doing with Docker, and that worked, which was mind blowing to me. Now there wasn't much content in the site. This is just for playing around, right? But WordPress seems to be. I take for granted a lot of the stuff that they're clearly working very hard on to make that work, because we see this a lot with other tools like Scalar and Omeka and stuff, where normally that's not something you'd want to do. All right, so I've got this set up here. I'm going to close. I've got a few too many tabs. I'm losing my thread here. Okay, so here's my site. And let me get the SSH info so I can SSH with this command. I'm going to make a new tab here. Okay, so that's great. I'm in. Now I am going to go to the web root, which, because of Reclaim Cloud, I know that it's probably in this folder. Yes, var www web root. Okay, so I am actually going to go and download that site zip file that I made. And I can, is wget here? It is. Okay. I could use FTP to bring it over, but because it's currently a zip file that's just in my WordPress directory on my shared hosting account, I'm just going to move it over like this with wget. And now if I go back to here, so it says I can import a site from a zip package like this.
Yeah.
But it also says you can overwrite the URL. You can go new URL multi-site dev.site. I'm not sure if I'm going to. I think I
maybe
may
just point it.
Yeah, I may point it in
See if it
DNS, because I think this might become my kind of sandbox site. I may keep this one. Although, to be honest, no, because I just exposed my database credentials. So I'll probably do this again later. So I am actually going to use this tool to have it rewrite a new URL. So this is one thing it's kind of nice, is you can tell it, hey, make it replace in the database the URL with this one, so that, because WordPress writes URLs to the database. So if you're changing the domain name or otherwise changing the URL, that can be a problem. So I'm going to run this, and I'm going to make the URL
just the kind of default URL that you have.
Yeah, we'll do it this way for now. So that's the URL that I want. So
yeah, exactly.
Okay. I don't know if the trailing slash matters. I'm going to get rid of it. Oh, I forgot to install it. Because I installed this over on shared hosting, but not in my Reclaim Press environment.
Yeah, it has to be installed on both, Taylor.
Yeah.
Just as an FYI.
That makes sense.
Just so you know. Oh, wait. You're doing it now.
Mm-hmm. It's going. It's going. All right. Now let me run the import. Again, this is a pretty small site, so that was pretty fast.
But look at this. It's pretty cool. Yeah. For anyone who's ever done a migration or a multi-site migration, feast your eyes on this.
Well, let's see if it works, though. Oh, okay. So it mostly works. It's a little busted looking. So I'm pretty sure I actually know what this is. I think this is an upload path issue, because it probably brought over the upload path from shared hosting. But let me actually look in the browser console here. That's interesting. I'm not actually getting any errors, but let me just get into the dashboard. Upload folder is not writable.
It's a permissions issue.
Oh, okay. All right. That's fine. We can fix that.
That's fine. Fine.
Let me also purge the Nginx cache here. Oh, cache zone path. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, so permissions issue. So then what I'll do, I'm actually going to go to our support site here, and we've got an article on how to fix permissions of folders and files on via the terminal. And there's a find command in here that is really handy for this kind of stuff. So this will change both the directories and files to the right permissions. I may, now that I just thought of this, I may need to do some user, oh, maybe not. We'll see. We'll just run this. See if this helps anything. Upload folder is not writable. Okay, well, maybe I need to go in the database and look at what that upload folder is. So for the database stuff, I can go here. I know, yep, database info. Oh, that's cool. There's a reset password thing in here. That's really awesome. Well, maybe I will end up mapping this because I can just reset my database password. And the database password is also in the email, so I can use that to get in. Okay, WP options. Upload. Oh yeah, here it is. So here's the upload path, and this is no good. It says home Jaden me recipes. This is the upload path for shared hosting. I'm gonna have to fix that. Okay. Oh, this is my old site. All right, so that fixed that. Now, I don't know if it's going to fix the design things going on here. Because it is weird that I have, like, this is so busted looking right now. But I don't remember. It might be.
Is it cached?
Cache zone path is not set. So I don't know where that cache would supposed to be. And I think that setting got overwritten when I imported things, but I don't know that for sure. I'll explore around here and see if I can figure that out. Oh, I didn't spell the Nginx right. Specified in the Nginx fast CGI pass cache. Okay, so I think if I look at the Nginx config, that might give me clues here. Oof.
Use MU migration. It will be easy, he said.
It'll be easy. It won't break everything. Well, this is what we're trying to learn. You know what I'm going to do for now is I'm just going to
use command line. It will be easy, he said.
Let me restart here. I don't know if Nginx would. I guess it's now time to turn to Google. Nginx cache location. Okay, so it should be a directive called proxy cache path in. So I was kind of in the right idea. And okay, let me open my notes because we are going to have to do some command line foo here. So did it not disconnect me? Huh, that's cool. I was able to restart this without it disconnecting me. Neat. Still busted. Okay. I wonder though too if this could be caching. It also could just be, I don't remember what I did with this site. I could have done some weird stuff. Well, look at this. So this looks fine. this does make me think that this is caching, because it looks fine here. The other thing I could do, I suppose, too, is I could look at the new project. I could just make one here and see what the default.
But actually, I think Brian, I'm looking at an email he just sent because he was playing around and he was having the caching issue too. But hold on, I think he found out where that path was. Hold on, I'm just
interesting.
right
So
now.
this is making more sense to me. So I'm paying $5 a month right now for this subscription, and it's being used up. So I get what you're saying now. I could add a new plan, which would give me another slot. Basically, this is a way to handle the fact that Reclaim Press is not pay as you go; it's a subscription product, which will be nice for a lot of people. So okay.
So, are you looking for the Nginx path zone path?
Yes.
It's var www web root and then /.cache according to. That's for the plugin. So if you go to Tools Nginx Cache, that's where it will put you.
Okay, cool. Right. Let me go
see if that works.
The plugin.
And thank you, Brian Mathers. That's a solution. That's why when people start playing with this, it's great because many hands make light work. And that will allow you to purge the Nginx cache locally and then see.
Okay, so that didn't fix my homepage, so it wasn't the caching. I don't think in this particular case.
Let me try it. What's the URL? Because I never went to it, so I would have no caching issues.
Okay.
So
it is. I'll put it in the private chat here.
Yeah, thank you. Perfect. So let me see if this loads for me. No, it's broken.
Yeah, I think this is, like I said, this has got to be a weird case of something with the MU migration tool and my custom, homepage I've got here. So
let's try something else. Go into app.my.reclaim.press and try to clear the path in the add-ons, the cache.
You want me to just delete that folder or the contents of that folder?
No, go to the add-ons.
Oh.
And they have a clear cache.
Oh, whoops! I'm not. I went to Reclaim.
You're
Cloud,
Reclaim Cloud. Got it. Okay.
That was mine.
I was like, oh, it's not there. But they have one that's, I guess, just doing maybe the same thing with the plugin. I don't know, but
maybe
there is a cache manager. Try cleaning that. Because that would explain why I'm still seeing it if it's cached on the server.
Yeah. Cache Mangler.
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's see. Will it blend? Nope. Well,
no. It's something else, and that's fine. I think what we get to do right now, Jim, we get to curse full site editing on WordPress.
Is that a full site editing site?
This is a full site editing site. I am at this point unapologetic. I think there's lots of problems with it, but I can do a lot of things in full site editing now that I previously would have had to have side and install Elementor for. And Elementor is a great tool that I personally have really terrible luck with. So it doesn't like me. So anyway, this is a full site editing site, but yeah, I think something to do with the way this was migrated just is not jiving. So I'm not 100% sure what that is though. And to be clear, I've probably done some real janky, I've probably done something like messed up my CSS in some way that's URL specific. I wouldn't be surprised if this is just this site issue, to be honest with you. So I'm going to call this a partial win for MU migration, but that I need more investigation is necessary. But
It's pretty
I guess
generous to call this a partial win.
well, partial. I mean, here's what
think
we're
it's
gonna do. We're gonna switch the theme to something simple. Let's go to 2017. Everybody's favorite theme, I think.
Exactly.
It's a good theme. Look at that plant. How can you not like that plant? Looks like a WordPress site to me. So I think this is something about my full site editing stuff did not carry over properly. Cool.
Yes. So while you were doing that, I was playing around with Cloudflare and seeing if I have, if I am able to get DS106 to work on the new server, and it does. I have to play around with the load balancing a bit and stuff, but like I think DS106 now is technically running from Reclaim Press. And I haven't changed all the individual subdomains, but just the wildcard, and that seems to work. So, yeah, it's cool. I mean, I'm just going to keep on moving stuff and kind of getting in there. But, like, I like it because I still default to the advanced interface because I'm so used to it now. It comes second nature. But like, I like the idea of going in there and accessing them and seeing what's possible in the user interface. That's far simpler because I think that's the experience I want people to have.
We didn't even, and we didn't even talk about some of the, or we didn't really do much here with some of, now that I have it installed, like what are the other things this allows you to do, right? So you can, the way it breaks down usage, resource usage is cool. Although this is available in Reclaim Cloud, it's just you need to know where to go. And file manager is here too, which is nice. I've actually, this one is also kind of similar to the Reclaim Cloud one, but I will say I really like that. Again, it kind of shows you only what you need. So when you go to favorites, it's got, hey, here's some like, common things that you may need in terms of like the configuration of Nginx or the cron or PHP if you're doing some advanced stuff. But also if you hit all, it shows all your files. This isn't even true though. This is all of the WordPress files. It's skipping all of the like specific server files that you should really never touch, which I think is great. I love that choice. So that's really cool. I love this edit domain name is just in here. That's awesome. And
it's interesting, Taylor. One of the things that I found fascinating is when I tried to bind a CNAME in the traditional interface, the advanced interface, it automatically added an IP. But when I did it in the WordPress simplified experience,
it didn't.
It didn't. So there's something with
I
the
think
code
there's some interaction with the shared load balancer that's happening here. I'm going to find out. And I want, because I want to know how that works.
There is a difference for sure.
The other thing that's cool here, I'm just now noticing this, is it looks to read the WordPress version dynamically, which is super cool. Right now in Reclaim Cloud, the best way to find out the version of WordPress that I've found, the fastest way, is to just use the WP CLI or log in and like look at, log into the WordPress site and look at, actually, does WordPress even have that in this? I'm not sure where I even know.
I think they do.
It's got to be somewhere in like settings probably, but down here, bottom right.
But I think that a lot of this WordPress experience simplified dashboard is using the WordPress CLI for a lot of this stuff.
Sure. But this is super cool that this updated, right? Like that's not even as nice. Installatron doesn't do that. So like Installatron will just show you what it figures the last version of WordPress is. So if you used Installatron to update WordPress, it'll be correct. If you used WordPress to update WordPress, it won't be correct, and it won't fix itself until you go in and have it sync the application attributes.
Exactly.
This is cool that this just automatically updated, right? The plugins thing is awesome too, right? This is going to be a game changer for troubleshooting sites. The fact that you can just turn this on, and I know turn this stuff on and off. And I know you also mentioned that, oh, that's interesting. I probably should be actually, I'm now realizing too, I have WP Super Cache. That could be a situation that's problematic too, because this site was being cached before via WP Super Cache. So I wonder if that's also.
I wonder.
Anyway, the fact that you can do this here
and
when
the
a site
plugins
is busted
are going to read like which ones are, you know, kind of like Query Monitor, like which ones are having issues and have their own kind of graph to give you a sense of, you know, some of the demands on it. I haven't seen that yet. That's coming. But that's pretty cool. And the themes issue is coming too. So it's got plugins, but it'll also have a list of themes as well. But I think plugins become more crucial than themes in some way, because usually you live by one theme, whereas you can have many plugins.
Yeah, and the other thing that's nice with themes is you can pretty easily turn those on and off in the database. You can just turn them on and off. You can just switch your theme in the database, and while you technically can turn themes on and off in the database, it's in like a plain text JSON format that's really difficult and tricky to edit. I don't really recommend folks do that. So what we normally do is we tell people, if you want to turn a plugin off, go rename the folder in the file manager, which is how we also tell people to do things on shared hosting. And that's okay, but this is so much nicer. So
I will say I have a minute or two before I have to jump into another meeting, but
sure.
Pilot brought up in the chat, and I thought it's worth repeating here, and I think you've seen it. 6 out of 10?
Yeah. It's a 6 out of 10 migration, you know? Yeah, I forgot. I would say it's a 6 out of 10 migration for sure.
I think that's definitely you are judging it. You're judging MU migrations. It failed me recently on the Baba Tuesdays migration, probably for legit reasons, because that's such a messed up site. But now I think maybe we have to go back to the drawing board.
Well, I think the thing here is I think MU migration is interesting for its use case, which is the idea of taking a site out of a multi-site and moving it someplace else is it sucks. It's a horrible you can do it. We have docs. I know you've done it. I've never actually done it, but it's one of those things where I look at the documentation and I go, ooh, you know. I love this as a tool to keep in mind for that. I think for straightforward migrations, I may keep looking. We'll see. But on the other hand, this did mostly do the job. I think with some messing around on my homepage, I could probably fix this, because it's really just this homepage that wasn't looking good. The weird thing is it looks fine in the editor. So I'm real confused about what's actually happening here.
He had the same issue. So there may be something with caching or something there. It may not be.
He had the same issue where his homepage wasn't looking good?
Yeah, Brian Mathers. Like, it was looking fine in the editor, in the block editor, but not in the thing. So I don't know. I have to jump.
Did he use MU migration? Sorry.
No, I migrated that.
Okay. All right.
But there were still issues on the other side, and a lot of them were cache related. So you know.
All right. Cool. Well, good stream. Thanks for joining me. We'll keep learning about Reclaim Press. Yep, 6 out of. I would say I think the stream was better than the migration. I'd call the stream a 7 out of 10. That stream.
Stream itself was 7.
Yeah. Reclaim Press 10 out of 10. Future score. It's too early to give it a real score, but you know.
Yes.
I think we're excited about
11 out of 10 for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Taylor. Thanks, man.
All right. See ya.
Bye-bye.